Hey! Oh, cool. Is that crystallized xanthanite? It conducts electrons across dimensions.
20% accurate as usual, Morty. The important thing being, I just upgraded our cable package with programming from every conceivable reality.
Wait, does that mean we get...
Basically Valkyria Chronicles.
How about
Valkyria Chronicles but with the Allied forces.
Do you like anime girls? Do you like anime girls in World War I? Do you want to feel like you're making a service to your non-existent country? If you answered yes to any of the following questions, then Valkyria Chronicles 4 might just be for you.
Yup, we're doing another one of these bad boys. Get your water, get your freshly baked Alicia Wonder Bread, and get ready for VC4, the Lolly Whore. Now, while some of you might be just watching this video for fun, those of you with 300 plus IQ may have noticed a couple numbers missing in between the two videos. And before I start, I should explain that Valkyria Chronicles 2 and 3 don't exist. Yup, they've never been made. So welcome to basically Valkyria Chronicles 4, where I'll be guiding you through the hardships of war, death, and how many buffs to give your units before sending them on a suicide run once again. Valkyria Chronicles 4 is actually the same timeline as Valkyria Chronicles 1, but this time you're viewing the war from the side of the Allied forces, which is called the Federaion, because turns out whatever happened in the first game didn't really mean jack shit apparently. The gameplay is pretty much exactly the same as the VC1, but with much needed quality of life changes included, which makes the game feel like you're right back at home, but even better. You play as Claude Wallace, also known as Scaredy Claude, due to the fact that he's the only character in the entire game with more than 12 brain cells. And you command Squad E. And the only thing you need to know about Squad E is that their squad code is EZ, so you know that those gamers are some bad bitches right off the bat. The Empire's back at it again, conquering land, murdering civilians, and being absolute fascist doo-doo heads. With the addition of superpowered lollies this time, because every single fucking anime apparently needs to have this piece of shit trope. And it is your job as the commander of a single lonely fucking squad to once again take out the entire Empire army, single-handedly, cause come on, you can't be expecting anyone else to do any fucking work in these games. While your squad members might be different from the first game, classes are almost identical, which are, for those uncultured swines who haven't played the original, the scouts, the shock troopers, the lancers, the engineers, and the snipers.
Hold it! Kept you waiting, huh?
So it turns out you actually get an additional class in this game called the Grenadier. And if I had to talk about them in a single sentence, the most appropriate description would be that they're either the second coming of Christ or Satan incarnate, depending on whose side they're on.
It's over, Anakin!
You underestimate my power!
Eat this!
The Grenadiers are fucking slow, but as slow as they are, they pack a punch. Grenadiers run around with a portable mortar attached to their back, and while this makes them run the slowest on the ground, with the lowest stamina in the game, as well as an incredibly long setting time that leaves them vulnerable to enemy attacks, as well as having an extremely low HP, once you set them, it's pretty much game over, easy GG, no re. On top of this, they can be customized to be either anti-personnel or anti-tank, which pretty much makes Lancers obsolete. That's right, baby. Lancers are definitely the new shock troopers when it comes to how useful they are. Speaking of shock troopers, they're fucking godlike in this game. This is definitely the best change from the first game, as all of the shock troopers have gained a massive stamina boost, letting them actually make good use of their destructive power. Galleons, please take note, this is why you don't skip the fucking leg day, you fucking dickheads. And lastly, I guess the joke about the engineers being mercy hit the bullseye, as in this game they can literally go around resurrecting downed party members, which makes them an incredibly clutch unit at times. But of course, how can we forget the man, the myth, the legend, a war hero whose tank shells will pierce the heavens. His name is Miles. Yeah, you fucking suck, Miles. While on the subject, let's talk about your hero units. In this game you have 5 hero units. These include Claude, Raz the Invincible as a shock trooper, and Deadeye Kai as well, a Deadeye. However, later into the game you get an additional 2 more, who are Riley as the Grenadier and Minerva as the best scout in New Game, as some of her fond memories of her old team, Squad F, give her some busted potentials. I guess it's only appropriate after I spent so long talking about your goons that I leave some spotlight for the ones of the Empire. Now, I'm not much of a game critic, but I get the feeling that the developers had much more of a quantity over quality approach when it came to the game's main villains compared to Valkyria 1. While in the first game there were only 2 to 3 faces that you really had to worry about, this game has easily doubled that amount, and every single one, except for this one, sucks dick. Literally in some cases. So let's just go through them one at a time real quick. You got Claus Walls, who's General Jaeger from the first game, with the only exception being that Walls has to have at least 7 women attached to his magnum dong at any given time. Then you got the Lollies, which are by far my least favorite characters in the game, as they're just a superhuman weaponized lolly trope and I hate that shit, and they also have really bullshit levels added as a cherry on top. Speaking of the Lollies, it'd be unfair to pass them without mentioning their creator, which is this fucking dinosaur who for the life of me cannot remember the name of, so I guess take that as your hint of my opinions about this character. Second to last, you have Sasuke Uchiha, and last but not least, you have Silvaria, but purple, and also on 12 kilograms of crack cocaine. You know, now that I'm recording this video, I realized that while I gave a full-on guide on how to break the game's balance in the previous video, I didn't actually explain how the fuck the game works in the slightest, so I invited my Anime World War expert to help me with a quick speed round. Please welcome.
Gamers, look at the Feds, now back to the Imps, now to the Veds, now to the Galleons, and back to me. It's time for the rundown. Those are your command points. You use them to command units. Enemies in cover have bullshit defense. You use grenades to set them on fire. That line means the enemy can see you. That line means the enemy will shoot you. Down there is your stamina bar, which Galleons don't have. These are orders, which are like buffs. They're useful. These are ship orders. They're like the Ethiopian Navy. Useless. But Galleons still don't have it. Heroes can carry 2 other units by spending hero points, which Galleons do not have. The objective of the game is to capture the enemy base. Exclusive to this game is the APC, which can transport units, which Galleons don't have. Headshots will deal more damage, while body shots just don't exist. These are mines. The tank has AT rounds and AP rounds. Don't ever use the other ones. And finally, this is your HQ, where you can upgrade your shit in Commencement Leg Day, which, again, the Galleons do not have. And there's your quick educational guide to the ABCs of Valkyria Chronicles 4.
What a legend. Anyway, let's keep going. Okay, now that you know the game, how do you break the game? While orders only have been slightly nerfed from the first game, enemy firepower has gotten a significant buff. And while the strategy of dumping every order on your hero shock troopers still occasionally works, it's not the GOAT like it was in the first game. That being said, as Gav mentioned in the speed round, you have an APC named the Cactus, which is an insane amount of stamina and can carry other troops. So instead of spending like 17 actions buffing your one hero, you can just put them in the Cactus for them to be safely transported elbow deep into the enemy's asshole where they can wreak havoc to their heart's content. The regular soldiers pretty much can't do anything against the APC. This means that the only real things stopping the Cactus are anti-tank grenadiers, anti-tank turrets, bunkers, and other tanks, which all 4 can easily be dealt by, including 1 anti-tank grenadier alongside Raz, as well as Allard to fix up the Cactus in case it gets too damaged. And while this trio is doing everything, just have everybody else turtle your own camp for a free win. Also, make sure to pick up your troops in case they die, otherwise, just as the first game, they will die permanently after 3 turns. Your hero units cannot die.